Benjamin Grimm, Big Benji, member of the Fantastic Four, one of the biggest dogs of Marvel Comics, one of the most underrated and resilient vatos across all of Marvel Comics, rocking with the best of the best in every endeavor. But could he beat Hercules of God of War, a version of Hercules that is seen in very high renown as being not only a tremendous, built different, impregnable foe, and even in design of some different endeavors of personality, is he a downgrade arguably from the original myth? He still always showcased that he is easily one of, if not possibly, the most strongest foe that God of War Kratos has fought. In this case, this is an interesting battle between not only two people that have a great showcasing of brawn, cleverty, and wit, but as well, got that dog, got that heart, got that sturdiness, got interest. I hope you guys will enjoy this vid. I can't wait to go again into more. If you guys are new here, please leave a like, share, subscribe, comment. Tell me, guys, not only what you would more like to see in the case of vids to come, and as well, hit the bell icon down below so you're notified every time I make a video. I hope you guys will enjoy. Like I said before, enough talk. Let's go and get it in. Big Benjamin Grimm, like I said, is the most underrated character of the Fantastic Four and most resilient, body made out of pure cosmic energy, A1 thrower of hands, one of my favorite Marvel characters, and easily to me one of the greatest characters of not only comics but fiction. Ben Grimm has not only thrown down and duked down with the greatest of possible greatest adversaries of all of Marvel Comics, as he's always been thrown in there to do what others can't, explore planes of existence that the other members of Fantastic Four cannot, and he's always been a very top tier heavy hitter, and definitely rivals someone like Mr. Fantastic in physical different prowess of strength, different mixed speeds of this man, Johnny Storm, and as multiple times when the time comes, even if he's not as strong as some of these people, can at least duke out with them in some forms, can take heavy blows from very formidable people that scale to multi-different rotation of high-scale individuals, like taking a fucking whole big hammer smack to the chest by Thor, the son of Odin, being able to duke out with the stronger versions of Hulk, who's able to rock with the Juggernaut, be able to rock with Namor underwater and defeat him underwater, and is a guy that multiple times has collided with the greatest of foes you could ever imagine. He's undoubtedly a built different beast, and is seen by multiple people to be very high inhaled, like by Hyperion, a man that's literally rocked with Terrax before, who is a herald of Galactus. He's been actually able to rock with very much high Heavenly Father herald characters. He's above multiple and outskirts of people, hurt Galactus. I mean, the dude's just a built different guy. Like, you would never be able to deny that. And even with all his depression, in his own words, who needs food when you got one like me? You know what I'm saying? He has a heart of gold like never seen before. Now, what does this all mean for his scaling? AP wise, he should be easily from all of this, easily to be a high complex multiversal character, and easily from the case of being able to rock toe to toe with Hulk of beginning time station in Marvel, who's rock with somebody that's able to cover infinite dimensions, right? By just existing, and has a capability to inherit the case of the little version of Franklin Richards, who's able to make pocket dimensions into reality warping, and by just sheer fighting is able to literally shank infinite dimensions. Infinite dimensions is what I mean in full, meaning that he should easily be at bare minimum a great hyperversal character, but easily could be very much strongly on the standing of outerversal, as I talked about Hulk before in my shameless plug, Hulk versus Kratos, Battle of Avenger versus God video, and that should easily illustrate his AP very soundly. With that being said though, right, in the matter for speed, he should be easily multiple times massively faster than light, from keeping up with Johnny and multiple characters and different outskirts of battle, keeping up with Silver Surfer, be able to tag him, rock with him, and stand toe to toe against him. But easily, because of what has been scaling chains and talks about, you know, different speed with other characters, from Thor, Silver Surfer, and other people, should be standing at least multiple times inaccessible to immeasurable, pretty casually, undeniably so, is very much fast as shit. and, can rock with the best of the best. Skill wise, he's not only a good hand-to-hand combatant, he's skilled in boxing, skilled different CQC combatment. He's able to use his more durable skin, different hide, to mix up and wrestle, ring around some people in different mixtures of different combatment, and really just give him a whole different means of what for. He really got that dog in him, and with his wrestling tactical abilities, he's getting all different holds and ground game, and can literally clobber, in his own words, anyone out of commission. Is able to cruise through people, and is one built different demolisher. It's clobbering time. You already know what it is. I love this character so much, as you guys can tell, but as well, the big thing about Ben is that he's resistant to a lot of things from different physical force and a bunch of other shit that wouldn't be relevant, because we're talking about another guy that at bare minimum is just another physical colliding foe. But just know that he has a lot of resistances and just instinctual hacks that make him be a living dumbbell that can just come at you cruising at 1,000 miles per hour. So yeah, simple as that. With that being said, time to go and talk about the half-big little brother of Kratos, Hercules. God of War Hercules. Famed little big brother of Kratos, and easily stands one of the most powerful mofos, and depending on how you perceive his stance to God of War Thor, as being the most strongest mofo that this man Kratos has ever faced. Easily stands as a built different colossal figure, and it's been shown multiple times in his boss fight, but it makes a simulation to his iconic 12 labors that he defied in order for redemption from myths, because God of War Hercules is very much different from original myths for the good or the bad, right? Shown to either do it at redemption for slaying his own family akin to Kratos, or for glory, for the escapades of being a man that, even though is obviously a demigod, in very much bare bones is pretty much a man perfecting against every possible obstacle put against him, and being the renowned hailed son of Zeus, will want to extend the bar for being a proud, profound, famed warrior, slayer, dominator, conqueror of any odd, pillar of strength, and by, in the case of having servitude to the gods and pretty much being an enforcer and pretty much leading as a surrogate god or commander of war, right? He would go about, leading the entire charge against the Titans and leading in the means to defeat this man Kratos, and in defeating of him will claim the title of truly God of War, and then by the same means in his mind, eventually when Zeus is over here not looking around and is weak, he would go about usurping his father and claiming the throne for himself, like a mixed possible case of fate. Pretty much this version of Hercules is barbaric, brutish, very much just bullying dog of war, and the only thing that he's really pushing for is the pursuit of power. This could all be coughed up to the fears of Olympus, or this could really just be how he is. Regardless, besides the case of the whole lore intake, Hercules, again, like I said, in my case of God of War power scale and tier list, has every argument to be very much close pit for pit against the case of, obviously, against Thor. And so, because of the fact that he stood against a very high-end standing case of Kratos and was able to outmuscle him, push him back, and very much give him some grounds of an actual challenge and formidable bang out, this would very much conclude and solidify him as a man to never be denied of being a very much tremendous, built different powerhouse like none other seen before. So with that being said, Hercules, because of scaling to mid-stance of God of War 3 Kratos in this case, being post-Soul Amp, post-getting the Bow of Apollo, right? And obviously the Boots of Hermes, he would be scaling in just AP and everything to be taken into play. He would be reasonably scaling from low multiversal at the lowest end to very much low complex multiversal to, if you think he directly just scales in different mixed AP and physical mixed bout stand, to mid, as simply put, he would be scaling to the same accolades and hail that is put with Norse Saga Kratos, depending on perceiving again the argument for again the matter for if he's stronger than Thor of obviously the Norse pantheon of God of War, and as well even argument for the case of standing to old Kratos, who also has an argument of possibly being stronger, or at least very much relative to his Greek saga version. But regardless how you see it, the fact that he has all these hails, all these accounts, and has the same statements like in Greek myth that he has strength not even comprehended by any of the gods, way beyond possibly his father Zeus, right? He should be scaling very much relative to them in many forms. And because he did the 12 labors, regardless of whatever they were for, he would reasonably scale to all of them. You see, his first labor was taking out the Nemean lion, which is where all his scars come from his legs, chest, stomach, liver, and most importantly, his face. As he, again, rocked with this man, Kratos, in the same essence for how he would be taking out the Nemean lion, within the case of using his superior strength and different argument for strategic boasts and maybe argument for benching and wrestling prowess to defeat the Nemean lion by either choking it out, by snagging its neck and crushing its jaws, and fully snapping its neck, right? This dude took out the Nemean lion, which would get him beyond any possible mortal standing, as purely with his big Brock vigorous strength was he able to defeat a thing that literally was said in Greek myth to be a being that no mortal weapon could possibly harm, right? Then, in the case of his other labors, like getting the apples for the case of King Midos, or the person that, counted his labors and assigned them, right? Also by the back of Hera, who literally sent snakes to kill Hercules in his youth that Hercules strangled, savage. This man Hercules was going about, trying to get some apples, but unfortunately, as well, in the mix, this dude cannot get to them because of the case of obviously their, high esteem, not only height and stature, being so very much wide that in comparison, because Hercules was so small, he could even reach. But someone could, and that was Atlas. Atlas obviously was holding the heavens. Now, how God of War shows this man Atlas holding the heavens in comparison to, obviously Greek myth or Roman myth is way different, so it's kind of iffy if he actually did this feat, but there's a very much argument that he timed out Atlas to get the apples for him because of his immense size, right? Literally being as tall as like a literal fucking mountain sculpt. I mean, this is a fucking four-armed titan akin to a Shokan mixed with a kaiju, right? And Hercules lifted the heavens for a decent while and seemed to be entirely unfazed by this. And there's very much reasonableness to say that just in pure strength in comparison, and obviously where he's at in Materialist, that Hercules would be way beyond not only the case of the Titans in comparison, but obviously any other person that doesn't scale to the same greater means of strength that someone like Kratos and others scale to. So simply put, that should be great feats and showcases what he can do, but he has done a bunch of other labors that are shown on screen that showcases whatever makes you want to argue how much is accurate of his actual, sense of battle IQ and things of that sort to be actually considered, and as well formidableness. When it comes down to speed though, right, because of scaling obviously to Kratos being able to react to the light of Helios, regardless of it be mild, fully blown, and or being stunned for a second to be able to catch back, should be scaling easily to infinite, because obviously Helios light filled up an infinite underworld and or Tartarus, right? But as well has every argument because he scales above like the Furies and makes the Fates and base, right? General case of means, and different talk of different other gods as well, and obviously scales beyond Hermes when it comes to speed and shit. He would reasonably be scaling to inaccessible, as his speed in comparison with Hermes is beyond infinity, so then by that same means he should be inaccessible. But greater scaling to this man Kratos, who multiple times scales of people that should be in the talk of immeasurable, and again the relativity to different characters of immeasurable talk, like Thor, Heimdall, whoever you could think of, Hercules should reasonably scale, right, to the case of immeasurable, or a man that it can exist beyond time and space. When it comes down to weaponry and other things of that sort, he's obviously a decently skilled adept person, but mainly relies on his big, obviously Goliath strength to outmuscle and outmaneuver people so that he can go about getting the greater push and press against people and pretty much outduke them. He obviously is somewhat sufficient in different wrestling, grappling, can outmuscle Kratos, like I said, and is able to move around him when the time comes to really duke out. He obviously has a Nemean cestus, weapons that he was granted after defeating the Nemean lion, which in this case, tied with his very much minimum armor, allows him to be very much durable, cause great bombastic shockwaves, is strong as shit, and is undeniably so a very built different case of warrior with all these to be had. So with that being said, if it isn't obvious by everything presented on screen, this man, the Thing, should scale dozens of times beyond this man Hercules, not only in dimensionality, but at the same time, even with equal speed, just because of the better case of not only formidable, skilled, and very much more highly caliber people, should just be dozens of times way beyond the case of God of War's Hercules' comprehension, and should, with one punch when he catches him, absolutely turn this man into goo and get slammed into the fucking dirt immediately after. In the mix, like, not only again does he scale to a way more higher cosmology demonstrated on screen and by the people that he faced, but the fact that this man thing, even if you want to go about equalizing the case of just the AP, because again they're very much strongly, confidently equal in speed, this man the thing would be dozens of times way beyond the comprehension of him, mainly in the aspect that he's faced stronger versions of characters that he would even have the argument to scale to. He's just rocked way more better and dozens of times way more consistently, is just not in any case of the way someone that this man Hercules has fought with the same matter of very strong form strength mixes well with skill, and again from one punch should entirely smith this man Hercules out of commission, and then simultaneously with just better skill fruition and pound for pound K abilities in regards of situational, maybe arguable expertise that this man Hercules could try to put in. I see this man thing adapting, outmaneuvering, possibly jacking the weapons of this man Hercules to the same extent that Kratos did, and just absolutely clocking this man out of commission, Mike Tyson him, giving him a 5-piece, no Popeye's biscuit, no butter, no honey, no syrup, simple as that. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you are new here, please leave a like, share, subscribe, comment. Hope you guys will enjoy the more content to come. If you disagree with this video or any other possible things that in question were said here, as always, my Discord is RPKing324. I am always open to debate. And again, if you guys enjoyed this vid, please subscribe, like, whatever the case may be. Hit the bell icon down below. I love y'all. I want to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, my army. Love y'all.